How are you guys doing?
Hey, we're good.
So I'm gonna start with Skyler, because I watched your YouTube video when you found out about the part and moved to Atlanta and was so excited. I just want to take you back to that moment, because I know you was making YouTube videos on your own, and when you found out you got this huge part in this on this huge cable network that everybody's gonna see, like how did you like keep it in? How did you keep the secrets that you couldn't tell in that we're about to talk about right now today?
Oh man, that was a good question. Um, yeah, well, I started doing YouTube to fill the time between auditions and stuff because I had always wanted to. So it was kind of just a fun little thing I did, and then I got addicted to it. That's another story. But yeah, I mean, when I booked the role, when I found out, I can't even describe the feeling. And I'm sure Shannon knows the feeling. It's just like it's surreal, but yet like I knew this moment was gonna happen. And you try and just live in that moment for as long as you can because you know that's the only time that'll be like you'll feel that feeling, that first time feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I and it was so funny because my brother was actually visiting and he came to visit and I booked it and had to leave to Atlanta that night. And he
Yeah.
was there and I was like, "I'm sorry, I have to leave you with my boyfriend. Have fun. Bye." They didn't even know each other. And I just left, but it was just I mean, in that moment, it was like anything could happen, I wouldn't be upset. Like, that's how I felt. Anything,
Yeah.
like, the little things just didn't matter. And so I feel like being able to keep that secret from my YouTube subscribers, I feel like it was hard, but at the same time, I was so busy, I didn't have time to make videos and tell anyone what was going on, you
Yeah.
know?
Fuck! What the hell?
Customer, put his fucking beer on the stage. I do a monkey drop. He end up busting me in my fucking head.
You gonna need more Neosporin for that. You gonna need some stitches.
Mercedes, finish dancing my turn for me.
My arms is tied. I'm liable to fly right up pole into the crowd.
Mercedes, fish that girl turn.
Hell, why don't you do it?
Because I just went out.
I'll give you a blunt.
Mississippi, bring your black ass back out on this stage. Right now. Right now.
Ooh. Bitch, you gonna owe me more than a blunt.
Shannon, my kids actually watch Dynasty. They love that. They love Dynasty. So I want to know how your character on Dynasty is different from Miss M.I. crooked letter I crooked letter I. What's that?
I'm back,
P.I.?
I'm back.
So different. Mississippi and Mia from Dynasty are completely different. Mia, as Alexis, who is Jeff's wife, would say, she bores you. That's her. That's what she says to Jeff to get Jeff to be more interested in her. I wouldn't say she's boring. I say she has just gotten past the wild, crazy times in her life, and she's more mature, she's more refined, and she is very much into routine, takes each day as it comes. This Mississippi is loud in your face. You hear her before you even see her, and big, bright personality. Like, that's a word in her vocabulary, you know, and owns her sexuality, and just two completely different people. Both amazing to watch, and both I had a blast on the set of Dynasty and P-Valley, but yeah, both completely different.
This question is for both of you. I know that you worked for this dream and you dreamed of being an actress. What's the reality compared to the dream that you thought it would be? Like, I mean, is it like a lot more? Is it a lot harder? I mean, like,
it's people see the glamorous side of it and they see the success. They have no idea how hard it is to break into this industry. I've been at this for 10 years. On my 10th year, I booked a series regular role. Before that, it was a series of survival jobs. And when I auditioned for P-Valley, I had a job. I was working at this job. They asked me to work a certain day. I'm like, can I get that day off? They're like, no. I walked out. I quit.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is all I got. Now I got to book this part. And every job that didn't cater to my needs as an actor, I'm an actor first. I'm quitting that job. You're broke. For the most part, you're spending a lot more money than you're going to make your first few years of acting. They don't talk about that. I went through a dry spell of several years of not even getting a call back. And it was so frustrating and so disheartening. And when you finally get the call that you're going to be a series regular on a huge TV show on one of the biggest networks, Stars, and that your life is going to change forever, it's you dream of how it's going to feel, but then when it's actually happening, you're just like, what is this actually happening? Am I going to wake up in my apartment in the Bronx like crying? Like, am I like really happening to me? So it's nothing like what I could have dreamed of.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. And I feel like for me, I always knew, like, I will book the series regular role. I will do it. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. And right before I booked this role, I remember I have never messed up an audition before. I've always had pretty good auditions. And I remember going into this audition, and I mean, I couldn't remember any of my lines. I was tired. The reader, I just had so many issues. And I remember walking out being like, why am I doing this? You know, because we all have those moments as artists of why am I doing this? I knew I would never quit, but there was still that feeling that I honestly don't think I've ever had until that moment of I want to give up so bad, if that makes sense. Like, I want to, but I knew I wouldn't. And about a week later, I was sitting in a commercial audition, like waiting room to go into the audition for like a granola commercial or something. And my rep started blowing up my phone and telling me what was going on, but I hadn't been officially offered the role. And I'm like, what's going to happen? I went into that audition just smiling like, oh my gosh, is this the last like commercial audition I'm gonna have to go to? I don't know. And leaving, I was sitting in my car and I got the phone call and my agent was just like, you're a series regular. You're a series regular. And he kept saying that to me. And it was so crazy because I had envisioned that moment so many times throughout my life of where will I be? How will I feel? And it was always in my car. I would always envision that. But it happened in my car. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. It's just crazy.
First, I hear that you grew up and got to see Michael Jackson on some performance, maybe on TV or live. I'm not sure what it inspired you.
Growing up as a little girl, Michael Jackson was my hero. That was Superman. He could spin like a tornado. He can spin into a cloud of dust and then morph into gold and then pop out. Like, I thought it was magic in human form. And he was so inspirational to me for this. Like, Michael Jackson to me represents the ultimate vessel, what you can be if you just allow God to move through you. And without question, without holding back, just let God move through you and express yourself through art, because I think art is the axis between heaven and earth, you know? Yeah. So, absolutely.
Skyler, I wonder, as an actress, when's the first time that you did perform in front of a large audience? Like, when you started chasing this dream, did you do something on stage, or like, what was your first large audience performance as an actress?
Trying to remember. I've been in a lot. I started out with theater, and I remember the first moment that I discovered I wanted to be an actress, and I was 5 years old, sitting in the audience watching my brother in a play, and I stood up and I was like, I want to be on that. I want to be in a play. My mom was like, sit down. They're trying to watch. But I wanted to be there so bad. And the next summer I was enrolled in the summer camp, the theater for theater, and I couldn't that time because I was too young. And I'm trying to remember what the first play I did was because I did a lot. And I
Yeah.
honestly, it's so weird. I can't remember, but I do remember that moment. And I remember there's never been a question in my mind since that moment. I just always knew this was my passion.
We've seen regions in the past be kind of brought to light by music or whatever. The Atlanta hip hop scene, kind of put Atlanta on the map. Same thing with New Orleans. I mean, they always were important cities. Right now, y'all representing the Mississippi Valley, which I can't remember too many things that kind of put that on the screen. How much hometown love do you think you guys are going to get from people that's in that region just to have a show that's kind of like repping their hood?
Oh, people gonna be lit. They're so hyped. They be like, "Hey, they're gonna absolutely love that show because I can't even remember. I can't even think of any like a film or a TV show that really represents the Mississippi Delta. You have The Wire, where people who are from Baltimore, they absolutely love that show. And you have movies that are set. You have movies like ATL and things like that, and you have like the Law and Order that's set in New York. But when have you seen people being represented in this way, and in that specific area, and this specific position? Like you don't see strippers being represented; they're always looked down upon. So. Yeah. We're shedding light to people who often get dismissed, and I think that's so cool. And people are gonna love this show.
Yeah, and for me, it was kind of ironic because I had just filmed in Mississippi, and I filmed the movie Ma with Octavia Spencer, and so I was able to stay in Mississippi and meet all these wonderful people and go to these like little coffee shops and stuff. And I remember everybody when I would walk in, they'd be like so excited that we were filming in their town. And it was the best feeling. And I hope that they get to watch this show and feel like it's done in such an authentic way because I experienced it. And from watching the show, it really is like being in Mississippi. So I hope they love it. I know they will love it.
Okay, last question for both of you. What's the toughest stripper move that y'all had to learn? Like what, at the choreography of doing, playing these characters, like what was just harder to get down than you could imagine before you had to portray this character?
What was it?
For me, I think it was called the chopper or the helicopter. I don't know. One of those. Okay. I don't know. It's one of them. But it's basically Katori wrote in a scene where I'm teaching Autumn Night how to do some tricks. One of them is this move, and you grab on the pole and you throw your legs and you go upside down. Okay. And I told Katori, and I was like, don't tell my stunt double to do that. I want to learn how to do that. And it was so hard. It was so hard to learn. I kept doing it again and again and again. And then all of a sudden I could just do it. And it was easy. And I went back to the pole studio a couple weeks ago and tried to do it again. And I hurt my back. So you got to just, keep doing it. I know. It's just, you got to just be consistent with it. So Shannon.
That was the hard part. Like to do an inversion, like to flip yourself upside down, like you're just like, am I gonna die? Like, am I gonna throw my back out? It's so difficult.
Yeah.
Most people have upper body strength, so my arms are wobbling. I'm trying to build my core up to like lift myself up. I feel like I'm gonna puke. It's a scary thing, and then the next day you just feel like you should just be in the hospital and you just can't move from this position. But it's hard.
I definitely laid there like that a couple times. I was like, yeah.
Well, our performances were great. If I could make it rain on virtual Zoom, I would be throwing some dollars at y'all. I can't wait to see your careers just continue to blow up. Be safe out there during this pandemic, and can't wait to see you guys on the other side of it. Can't wait till everybody else gets to share P-Valley, like, I've been lucky enough to get some early screenings. Take care, everybody. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.